All right, I think it's a good time to do another quick update for Bitshares. Damn, it's making a, a lot of money on this. I added this stuff baby back in beginning at 4.5 cents. And I've told you my incremental buyings, I've got a boatload of Bitshares. And my incremental strategy of adding to Bitshares is to take my Steam dollars that gets rewarded. I select a 50-50% payout, 50% in Steam, which I convert to Steam Power, which comes in Steam Power rather, and the other 50% comes in Steam dollars. And every day, I take those Steam dollars, transfer it to Poloniex, and buy Bitshares. That's what I do. I've already amassed quite a bit of it that way, a good number of it. And to me, Bitshares is something that you buy and just don't sell for quite a while. But for those of you who are traders, why don't you just share something with you here? A milestone of 11 cents would be key for me, as shown in this chart. This is a daily chart. Look at this beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4. And wave 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subways of it was so extended that it had no choice but to correct almost 86.6% of the rise. But look, it came back to the range of price of prior wave 4 right here. Almost identical. Now, a lot of technical analysts, they like to draw angle, trend-based support and resistance lines. So this clearly, Bitshares clearly belonged to the downward pointing bullish symmetrical triangle species, like one of these. And it's going to blow up as it had been doing. But it hasn't had that explosion phase. So a couple of things are possible. So as I indicated, most technical analysts draw angled trendline support and resistance lines. But me, and often they forget this, I like to draw horizontal support resistance lines right here. Okay, so we're coming up to it right now. And that's why I picked 11 cents as a short-term target. What is the next zone of resistance on a horizontal measurement? It's right here. Okay, that's why I selected midterm target of 21 cents. Now what I see here is very bullish. I see the slow 45-degree incline, crescendo incline of the MACD. So a few things are likely here, I think. We can get 11 cents and bounce down. Okay, we may even go back to the 7s or even 6s. And then have enough mojo. But because of this forest of resistance here, Price might just meander a bit. Up, down, be repulsed by this. And rise up finally. That is one possibility. And boy, that'll take a long time. Okay, but the other scenario that we can see potentially is that prices surge out of this, bounce off of this, meander here, go like that. And this could be possible. So let's look at this from an Elliott wave perspective. I would count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that kind of makes sense to me. And if that's the case, then this MACD should explode upwards. So what I'm thinking is this slow crescendo, or the price we had been seeing, was maybe preserving the mojo to finally give the oomph into this forest of resistance. And enough oomph to get past it, hit it, and then we can maybe have a downward pointing triangle as a consolidation, because once it gets past there, there's a t-bit of some type of a support right here that it could use as support. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then finish off and go into the 5 and sit in this support zone, let's say. Or hell, it could just go up further, who knows. And given how, I mean, this is like a mule just going steady up and up and up and up and up. It must just continue doing crescendoing like a mule, just pulling it up through, plowing through slowly but surely. But I do know this, these resistances are pretty formidable. Okay? And usually to get through that, you don't get through as slowly, you get through as a surge. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get past this, hit 11. And then we may get deflection here. And a surge up. Meanwhile, you know what I would say? BTFD. Buy the freaking dips on this baby. Higher highs coming, and likely not too long from now, all-time new highs as well. All right. Here is now the Bitshares to Bitcoin pair. I did a lot of subwaves. Let me get rid of all of this for now. Start fresh. Not too different from the BTS USD pair. There was beautiful 5 waves here. Also, the 5th wave here was extended. It was a mighty extension. It's like pulling a rubber band. You can't pull it anymore, and it just snaps right back. Okay. This was probably maybe down out to 4 standard deviations, maybe. If you look at a bell curve, maybe it was out here in that region. 1, 2, 3, 4 standard deviations. Actually, that's pretty too much. So let's make it 3 standard deviations. So that means that 3 standard deviations, when it's stretched in price, you are at 99.7%. Okay? So you are hitting what 99.7% are not able to hit, a price range. So at this stage in price, your price is going against 99.7% of the population, of all other price possibilities. And that kind of stretch does not last long. It is not sustainable. It lasts only maybe hours to maybe half a day or momentary. And in equities, I've seen as much as 5 freaking standard deviations. And that is the gusto of sentiment that drives it like this. That is why I say extended fifth waves always snap back to a very deep retracement because of all the energy spent and stretching the sentiment to a point where even 99.7% of the population of prices are not able to attain. Okay. So that means, sure enough, here we had a massive, close to 90% retracement. The whole thing was retraced almost. So whenever you see a massive stretch in an extended fifth wave, get out soon. It ain't worth sticking through this. And I'm talking on a daily scale. And I think on a bigger picture, and I'll talk more about some Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, we're going to see a massive, massive extension of the fifth wave. Forget 10,000. Now 10,000 is somewhere here maybe. 2 standard deviations. Well, no, not even. That's 1.5 standard deviations. 15 maybe 2. 20,000, 2.5. 25, 30,000. Could be 3, 4, 5 standard deviations. And it's going to rock it up like a vertical trajectory on a daily scale. And that's when you get out. Because even for Bitcoin, when the fifth wave is so extended into the 3 and maybe 4 and 5 standard deviations, that's called insanity. That's when you get out. Gratefully and humbly take your massive profits that you got from down here. And send hedging a very nice beer tip. At that case, forget the beer, it'll be single malts, man. So for Bitshares to BTC pair, very similar to the USD pair. Then that means we just have to draw some lines. So let me just get rid of this. Now, I heard from a comment on how do I draw lines. If I draw it from here to here, it doesn't look right. Correct. The way you want to draw these lines is try to connect as many peaks as possible. So when you draw it from here to here, you only have maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 peaks. So just lower it until you connect as many peaks as you can. Like this, or you can even go like this, which is fine. Okay, this will connect probably the most. Remember, technical analysis is not a perfect science. It just purely tries to identify as many possibilities and narrows down those to maybe a handful of probabilities. And from that, you select your most primary pathway for the price. So if that's it, then I'm going to make it like this here. Boom. Beautiful. And this still belongs to the downward pointing bullish symmetrical triangle. But look, compared to Bitshares USD, it hasn't made too much progress on the BTC pair. Well, don't worry. That's going to come. And it can look like this. Now look how I drew my lines. I'm giving you all my secrets here. Again, going back to my resistance, I'm drawing the horizontal resistance. Okay. And I find another major resistance. And then another one. So within these bands of resistance, I'm taking one, will hit this, probably bounce off for 2. 3 will go through this, but to be stopped probably at the top of this resistance, make a 4. Then mojo will be collected enough to bust through that and breach and hit this band of resistance. And there, by then, it'll probably sap out and do an ABC correction, maybe down to this support now, and then continue up. Now here is a key, and this is very important, so pay attention. How different is this, what I'm doing, laying out my waves, to my laddering technique? It's almost the same thing. Do you see the beauty of this? I mean, this is something that this is what I came up with, and I'm thinking, it's not an accident that the waves are hitting resistance and supports and resistance and supports. And if that's how the waves are usually interacting in the ebbs and flows in price, then hell, I'll buy it in that ebb and flow pattern as well. And this is really, really important. This is the key insight that I had through so many painful, frustrating, emotionally damaging, psychologically damaging experiences of losses and failures that I've had. And that was a key moment of insight that's now helped me tremendously, and I hope it'll help you tremendously also.